here. It is Thursday. I usually try to go live every Monday and Thursday with some sort of DIY of some sort, crafting, all the things here on my channel. Boy, I've got kind of a mess going on here. But today I'm going to try a new craft that is a part of the Creative Kickstart that every year Chalk Couture does a Creative Kickstart kind of kit. And so this year they tried something new, which is punch needle art. And I tried it a little bit, like in bits and pieces, not really solidly. Maybe never really completed a project. I've kind of just helped my girls have. They took a class at Pinners 3 or 4 years ago when we did a girls weekend, and I was working at Pinners, but they got to go to all the classes and they loved doing it. And I did do a little assisting with my daughter, trying to get hers done, or both daughters trying to get theirs done and finish it, which I'm not sure maybe one got finished, maybe two, I don't know. So anyway, this is kind of a new craft, and we put our, of course, Chalk Couture twist on it. It is available, this kit. Actually, they've extended the availability of it. It's usually only available for the month of January, but they've extended it out to February 9th. You can still get it. You can buy the parts of it, or you can get it for absolutely free with the purchase. I do have my shop list down below, so if you go to the Chalk Couture site, obviously, that is how I make money. So I appreciate your support in that manner. But of course, I just appreciate you being here. So in the kit that you get for free, you actually get all of these beautiful colors of floss, as well as it is espresso ink. I thought it was white because it didn't have the espresso up here. There's an espresso ink packet. We're going to use espresso today. And then you also get the punch needle set. I guess it's in there. And the set comes with the punch needle, a couple of different needles, and I think extra needles, and then a couple of threaders in there. You can hardly see them. I don't know if you can see them. There are those little white squares at the bottom, and then they have this big long layer. And then also pretty decent directions. So that will be the second part of this video. So hopefully you'll hang around for that. In the meantime, we're going to start prepping. You also get a market tote, which is, doesn't say sizes. And then this exclusive Creative Kickstart Cozy Pup transfer. Isn't he cute? And it even has little footprints. I'm not going to bother with the footprints today. Didn't even cut off, so all good. I think we're going to just go ahead and get started, because the first thing that we want to do is ink our bag, the tote. And you could do this on anything. You could do this on, a sweatshirt. You could, well, I don't know. I guess I'd have to research that. I feel like you could do it on a sweatshirt. Probably not a sweater. Not on a sweater. But we're going to do it on the tote that comes in the kit because, why not? We got it. And I'm going to find us a little ink mat. You could use a piece of cardboard for this too. And try to find the front of this and put this ink mat. It's a sticky, like a reusable sticky-sided mat that we use for our ink so they don't go through. Kind of sticks to the fabric. I wish I could see my new one, because it is stickier. There we go. This one it's getting used it over and over and over, and hey, hello, not musty and edits art. Yes, that dog, isn't he cute? The wiener dog with his little sweater. And we're just gonna punch his sweater. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be faceted to get this little dog done, but we'll do it here on YouTube so it stays forever. I'm also Prairie Scraps over on Facebook, as well as now I'm on Whatnot. So if you hadn't seen my live Whatnot, go check it out. I want to do him kind of in the middle. I think this is this the middle? Sure is. It's got a little crease in the middle, so I think we're going to be good. maybe I'll just, I got the little packet. I'm going to hold off on that ink mat first. I'm going to get the transfer out. So if you were doing the transfer like on wood or something slippery, you would want to fuzz it, but because we're doing it on fabric, we do not need to fuzz it. Kind of fuzzes itself. Hello, soft child. Some different names. This is my little crafting channel. I try to bring you all kinds of crafting ideas. I am an independent chalk couture designer, so and I've got all my links down below. I do sell my finished goods as well as craft supplies. So we're just going to take this off. This is a reusable sticky backed transfer. I'm going to take it off and fold it and put a little crease on it so that I know where the center point is. Not too hard. Don't fold it sticky side to sticky side because that's a mess. All right, we're going to get this on here first. Maybe down a little bit, kind of centered. Okay. And we want to get those wrinkles kind of pushed out of here because we don't want them wrinkled. Okay. Now, my experience with these kind of, I don't know what is in these canvas bags. Sometimes they seem a little bit on the slippery side even. So you want to be a little bit cautious as far as when you're chalking, because it could, you want to make sure this is good and down, and even then probably use your, maybe we could do the little footprints across the bottom. It's kind of cute. I'm kind of thinking no. I don't know. We'll see if I accidentally do it. If you were worried about, I want to make sure this is straight. If you're worried about going over on the footprints and you don't want the footprints there, be sure to use some blue tape or some transfer tape and just tape it off so you don't go over or, you know, live on the edge like I'm going to here. All right, there's a little lump in the bottom. It'll remind me not to go to the bottom. All right, I'm going to use a squeegee. So the other things that you would need, you've got the paste packet's going to come with it if you get the whole kit. The other things you would need is a squeegee to do this project. And then a hoop. And I'll show you what I'm going to use. We actually carry the hoops as well. So they're not super expensive. And actually, I really like our hoop a lot. So it's a good thing. And I'm doing this whole thing in brown because the punch needle is going to put in the pieces of color on the sweater. So and I'm just putting this is a non-toxic ink. I'm just putting it on here. It's going to be a permanent ink on the front, and once we get it dried up a little bit here, we're going to heat press it. I even brought my little heat press out. I know it'd be easier with my big one, but I'm going to go from the outside in because I don't want to squeeze it out towards the outside. I want the dog to look nice. My daughter and I kind of figured out if you do make a boo-boo with this brown, this espresso ink, it's going to stay because it's going to stain it. But what we did a little trick because we're actually using espresso on a white fabric and did a little, my daughter, I'm outing her. She did a little boo-boo. We were trying to make a embroidery pattern because you could do this for an embroidery pattern as well. This little dog would be adorable as an embroidered sweater too. So think about that as a project. If you like to embroider, that is so much fun. You want to try the new punch needle craft that we've got going here. Okay, so I'm going to set this all aside and shut up my ink. Ink comes in the paste packets. I highly suggest it that way. If you're just trying out a project or two, you're going to have plenty of ink in that little singles packet. But I, keep the jars, and so that's what I'm using here today. Same stuff. And I'm going to just get a wipeout and double check that I don't have any ink on my hands because we don't want to put little fingerprints. All right, let's put it down here a little bit so you can see. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. What do you guys think of the little wiener dog? I just love him. He's pretty cute. All right, so this is washable, and you can use this transfer up to 12 times. It will wash right off in the sink with just regular water. And I'm going to set that aside so that it doesn't, maybe, so I don't get that one messed up. What am I doing here? I've got things, my life is coming undone here. Okay, so we've got that, and it's pretty wet. So I'm going to work on getting it dry here while I talk. What did I have for dinner? We are not, oh, that's a question. Sorry, I guess this is slipping here a little bit. I don't know why it's moving around. I'm going to try to get this as dry as we can. And that espresso kind of spread on the fabric. So, you know, maybe go a little bit light if you want to have all the detail. Because I could see like his eyeball kind of filled in. I'm thinking about doing this punch for a class at our local craft store. So this is kind of my testing out to see. Hello, Maria. And yeah. Thank you so much for popping in. We're doing this little wiener dog. Trying to remember what the transfer is called. Cozy Pup. Cozy Pup, because he's got a little sweater. And I can't remember. I've got some fabric markers. I guess there's no white. It's kind of sad that it didn't have white. We're just giving it a good dry here, just to make sure that it dries up nicely for us. And it is so thick and runny. I don't know why this espresso ink is so runny. So the ink, once we heat press it, it's going to be permanently on this bag. It won't come off at all. It'll be good to go. And the espresso ink does come with the bundle if you get that for free. It's free with a purchase of $100. So you can just go down to my shopping down below. Or if you want a direct link to him, well, yeah. Just go under the new, what's new tab, and that will help you find all the new stuff. We have new peanuts launched today. Kind of exciting, kind of a smaller peanuts. We have the peanuts licensing, so it's kind of a fun little side thing that we have going, which I love. I love all the peanuts. I've been making peanuts Valentines. I don't know if you've seen, I made a few of those online. Go back and watch it, but aren't those the cutest? Love them, love them. You rock. Linus says you rock. I'm still not done with those. I have to cut them out, but I want to fill the paper up, so I keep doing them here and there. All right, we are going to get our little heat press out here, and hopefully I can get it plugged in and start heating up. Like I said, once we press it, this ink, you can wash and dry it all you want. It's not going to come off. I don't know if I've got enough plug-ins for two things. That's going to be the issue. We shall see. This is a 1953 Airstream camper that I'm in, and I'm just thankful and grateful to have a place to craft that's all my own. But, ooh, I got it. I won't lie. I'm kind of stuffed in here to the hilt, and, you know, it kind of looks like we're falling or whatever. That's why, because it's, you know, it's shaky. Every time I move, the camper's actually moving. The whole camper is. All right, so we're going to turn the heat press on here so we can get that going and warmed up, and then we will heat press it. In the meantime, I'll continue drying this because this is a pretty wet version of a dog. We'll take this out. We don't need that in here anymore. And it doesn't look like it really went through, although you can kind of see it through. Always, when you have these mats, put your backing back on, clean off any ink that happens to transfer onto it, and that'll extend the life of your ink mat. It kind of reminds me of the mats that you used to cut out on the Cricut. This is pretty close. Let me show you. There's just like little specks of it that kind of went through on the back side. I don't know if you can see that. We'll definitely be able to see it through. So the punch art is done from the back. The punch needle, we're going to punch from the back of the piece. It's not going to be punched through the front, which is kind of a different thing. Embroidery is done from the front, cross stitch from the front. You know, you can see everything when you're knitting and crocheting. Ooh. I spilled water. Brought my water with me. Trying to drink more water. I've recently lost over 12 pounds in the last 6 or 7 weeks, and I'm trying to increase it more, and I need to increase my water because I get a little lazy on my water. It's not my favorite thing. Thank you. Is it Okami? Okami? Hola. Sorry if I butchered your name. I didn't mean it. Try my best. Okay, where are we at? Not there yet. Okay, I've got my little ironing pad. I'm going to stick that under here before I forget to put it there. Our heat press. So you can use this ink. It's non-toxic. I love doing it with kids. Kids love to do the inking on t-shirts and hats and whatever. You could do your jeans. You could do anything fabric. You can do, you know, tea towels, whatever. All right. I know this is going to take a little longer to do. So we're going to just put this. This is a piece of parchment paper. You could use a regular iron for this as well. I am definitely impatient for the heat. And you just want to do, you know, a few minutes at a high temperature, like 300, just like your oven almost. And it will take a little bit of time here because we're still heating up. So I'm going to take longer than I normally would. It's definitely getting hot. And this just heat presses it so that this bag can be washed and dried all you want, and this ink will not come off. So I would say probably my #1 thing I love doing is working with the inks because they are so much fun. Speaking of inks, if you've not joined Whatnot, I've got a little $15, you get $15 to spend on Whatnot if you join. Use my little link down below. But on February 1st, I'm going to be selling my inked t-shirts and flannels. So we'll be getting that ready here shortly. Probably, you know, stay tuned too. We'll probably make some t-shirts and flannels. Kind of same idea as this cute fabric. So t-shirts might be with it. With the punch needle. I'm back to the punch needle. I just want to show how easy and accessible this is for a craft. It may seem overwhelming. I actually did a little bit of research because it's been so long, and I even made my daughter get out her punch pillow that she was working on from a couple years ago, and we double checked, and I was pretty sure that you go from the back. So it's going to be a little tricky because it's a tote, but we're going to make it work. Definitely hear it cooking up here. This is the same process. If you have a larger, you know, Cricut press, you can use that to do t-shirts, and it's a lot easier. I just didn't want to bring the whole big, you know, I don't have a whole lot of room in here, so I kind of keep that in the house. And it's my nice little one I got for a gift from my kiddo. A gift from my kiddo. Let me see how that, I think we're going to be good. It feels pretty stiff. Not stiff, but if you do it on a t-shirt, it's going to be just fine. All right, let's get to the fun, right? Let me get this unplugged. I'm always kind of a stickler. Are you guys a stickler about like using extra electricity? I'm always like, turn off the lights, you know, shut the fridge door, all those things. Oops, I'm making a mess. Don't you know, I'm gonna stick this. This is coming down. Everything's kind of wilting in here. I don't know why. It is so warm, and I've got this heater set at like under 60, and it just keeps pumping and pumping. I think it's because the floor is so cold that it just keeps going. I've thought about putting it, oop, I did get a little ink onto my hoop. I need to be careful. I got the hoop. So this is the hoop. I love it because it is a rectangle. I think that's kind of the fun part of it. All right, so the part with this, when you're looking for a hoop, I learned this in doing my embroidery. You want a hoop that has the little screw, like where you can use a screwdriver to tighten it down. You want that on the end of the screw, because not all hoops are created equal, is what I found out while embroidering. But this is one you can get from us, and it's not, like I said, it's not super expensive at all. And we're gonna go ahead and get him centered in here, but I'm putting the part with the screw on it, with the tightener, on the other side, because this is going to be the back side. So you want this part to be indenting in, and you want the other part to be up. I guess it would work either way, but I just traditionally, when I'm embroidering, we do it the other way, where we have the fat side. This is a stiff little, ouch, I pinched my finger. I knew that was going to happen too. All right, I could have just unscrewed it a little bit, but so you see, this is going to be the right side, and you can see the dog through. So that's what we're going to use for doing the punching. This is going to be the front side when we're done, but the done part of our punching is going to be on the back side of, we're actually going to look on this side, on the inside of the bag. If that's not confusing, nothing. If you get that, you'll get anything. Okay, so then comes the fun, maybe dreaded punch needle. And like you, I'm just gonna kind of look at the directions, so it's okay. I'm glad they have nice little pictures and everything too. I've never had a threader, but though my daughter was like, that's why she stopped doing her punch needle, was because she lost her threader. So I'm a little scared to let her use my threader. So we want to use the threader. Ouch. And this, it comes with little staples, so be careful. This is the needle. And you could actually make different sizes of punch sizes on this. And then there's 2 extra needles for this as well. So this is a pretty good kit. Let's see if we can figure this out. So there's a little cap on the end, there's a screw, there's a grip, and then the needle at the end. So let me show you that. And you could change the size of your punch by changing that number there. I might just leave it where it is. Okay, so number 1, insert the threader into the punch needle from the needle point and completely through its barrel. So it's going to go all the way through. There's like a hole in the middle of this. And so you're going to stick this little thread, oops, not through the end, but through the end, not through the side. Don't go here. Wrong direction. Oh, you know what I could do is take the cap off maybe to get it through. Because it's not going well through there. It's like kind of at an angle. Let's put that back on. Work smarter, not harder. Okay? And let's see, what color should we do first? There's lots of great colors with this. You won't use all of this. You will have plenty of opportunities to do more of the punch needle. You might decide to do it with other projects. Let me get this open. Get that folded over so it doesn't stick to my project. I don't know, what color should we use? I like this one. I don't know if they say color. And I kind of like the pink to go with it. Remember, our dog is espresso, so we might use that. Or do we want brighter? I don't know. Maybe the darker. I always say I don't like purple, but I always end up with purple. It's kind of silly. I don't know. I like these colors together, so maybe those will be the colors we use. Sticking to my finger. All right, we're going to start with that. We're just going to do 3 to start with. All right, so what you want to do once you have that threader through until it comes out the opposite end, and then insert the threader yarn into the loop and pull the threader back. Now, I have a little trick for you, which I never knew until recently. I was this old, as old as I am today. To get your floss out of these little skeins, you want, oh, and it's got them both coming. You want to pull the side with the number on it, actually. And it's got, this is the funny thing, it's got them both coming from this side. Let's see if we can, they say you want to pull from the number side, so I don't know what's going on here. I guess we're gonna, I was gonna hopefully pull from one side and be magically not knotting it up, but I think we're magically knotting it up. So you want your thread to be loose because you don't want to have any sort of knots coming out. So you just kind of want to give it a pull, give it a tug, make sure that you're free of it. So I maybe got the inner one. You don't want the inner one on these. So it's kind of a mess, but we're going to go with it. Okay, so then you insert your thread into the yarn, or the yarn into, so you could do this with yarn too, by the way. My daughters did theirs with yarn. This is embroidery thread or embroidery floss. And then there's a little, like, this is so fine, but there's like 2 pieces of wire on that threader, and you want to stick your thread and keep it there. Stick your thread through between those 2. So you want to get them apart. This is the hard part. I promise. This is the hard part, is trying to get your thread through the threader. Okay, there we go. And you want to give yourself a decent tail because you don't want it to slip out when you're pulling through, but it's pretty tight in there. Okay, insert the thread into the threader, and then pull the thread yarn down and out of the threader tip. And remove the threader yarn from the threader. So see how that went right through? Isn't that cool? Love it. Love it when a plan works out. And then what we're going to do is insert, if we can get that back open again. It is really, like, it's not going to come out of there. That piece of wire is so tightly together, I can't get it apart. Okay, get that thread out of there. Now we're going to insert that threader into the needle, because in the tip of the needle is a little hole. And we want our thread to go into that. Oops. What did I do? Already I'm making knots. I'm making knots. Nice, huh? Somehow I've got like one piece going around though. Trust me, this is all I do when I embroider. I've gotten pretty good on needles doing this, but this little piece of wire is giving me a fit here. It's so tiny. Come out wherever you are. You know what? I've learned something in embroidery, not to fight with every knot. With this amount, I'm just going to cut this off nice and even and not worry about it and throw that little piece away. Because can you see that one piece is still kind of wrapped around there? And it's just like knotted up in there. Now I wish I had my embroidery needle because I could stick it in there and get it out. But it is not coming out. I think I'm just going to not cut the threader wire, but cut the thread. Oh, for Pete's sake. It's like so stuck in there. It's like wound up in there. One little piece of thread wound up in there. Oh, well. For right now, I'm going to just leave it. I could feel a piece of my hair in there. Okay, so insert the thread into the thread loop, pull the threader back out. Pull the thread yarn down and out of the threader tip and remove the thread or yarn from the threader. That's the ticket, right? That's crazy that I can't get it out of there. And I want to be careful not to cut the threader. All right. Then insert the threader through the needle eye from the needle to the tip. So the needle back is the pointed side, apparently. Yep. So there's like, can you see on the tip, this high part? That's where you want to stick it from the high part into that little hole if we can. It went through even with that little piece of thread. That's going to bug the whatever's out of me. And then we're going to grab that, put it in there, that threader, and back through. Place the end of the thread yarn into the threader and pull the threader back out of the needle eye, pulling the thread or yarn downward and out of the... Okay. I'm just reading all the directions, make sure I got a handle on it. There we go. Get the end out. Now we'll see if I can actually get my thread out without cutting it. There we go. It's hopeful. All right, I'm going to put that back in here and hopefully be able to keep it together. There we go. I almost put it in my bag. Okay, so now we've got it going through the back. Do you see that? And I'm going to pull this back so that we don't have such a long end anymore. Place the end of the thread and then pull it through. The threading is complete when it comes out that back little hole, out the back side. Okay, so punch needle should penetrate all the way into the fabric so the grip of the needle touches the fabric. The needle must be pushed all the way and then lift the needle out of the fabric just enough to move to the next stitch. Keep the needle as close to the material as possible. Lifting the needle too high softens the loops in the front of the design and creates unwanted loops in the back. Okay? All right, we're going to give it a try. So I can see through this, especially when there's a little bit of light here, I can see through where I want to go. So I think I'm just going to start maybe with this. Let me see. I'm going to start with this one right here. It's got kind of blurry right there, so I'm just going to go with it. Like, which ones are the worst ones? All right. So we are gonna, I actually saw where they took, and we're just gonna do a plain next to stitch. We're not gonna do anything fancy or anything. I'm scared. Oh goodness, that goes in hard. So see, you want to put it all the way up to that collar and then pull back and then just go a little bit over. And it leaves like a lump in there. And then you just keep going. You don't want to go too far. You want to kind of get in a rhythm of just going stitches on the back. You don't want to have too big of loops. And I would say probably, like, I have some sulky, like, I want to make sure I'm not going through the back of the, so see how that's looking. Oh, they're pretty far apart, actually. It's a little bit of trial and error, I think, to get it how you want it. Some of the sulky backing you could put on here to kind of solidify it in. I'm not gonna lie, oops, that one didn't stay. I'm like, it takes a little bit of practice. You just got to keep going until you get what you want. So I'm just going like that. And at first we might just see some of it, you know, be okay with a little bit of, is that tightened down? It feels like my, oh, it is moving. Remove the cap, loosen. You know what it is my, wait, before you start, how do you do this? Okay, remove the cap, loosen the screw and take the needle out. Release the needle from the joint and, okay, so my needle is in here loose. So that's the problem. My needle is, so before you start, learn from my mistakes. Before you start, make sure that you tighten your needle, because that wasn't going well. That was actually very difficult to get it through. And it's still coming out. And why? I want to have the same size. Do not move on me. But it feels, oh, is it in there? Tighten it down a little bit more. Okay. Whenever you pull out, see, I've got a big piece of string here. Can you see that? What you want to do is kind of pull it back through so you don't have such a big gap. Why is that not going through? I know that this took a little practice, so I already know that this is going to be a work in progress. This won't probably come out exactly perfect the first time, and that's okay. Ooh, I'm not leaving things. I think I'm going to take it out back. So it's very easy to take out. You don't necessarily want it to come out. But if you make too big of a stitch, just go back and fix it. It was easily fixable. I'm doing much better now. So I'm getting the rhythm. My needle must have been just really loose. And I'm sort of, you want to be careful of your fingers, but I'm sort of holding my finger. You want to watch the back side of it. Here, I'll hold it up here. Maybe I'm going to, oh, no, that's not even staying. Why? I want to back up a little because they fell out. I also saw that if you wanted to, you could use like a Mod Podge sealer, like a brush-on sealer onto this to get it to stick. Or, you know, because you don't want to like put something into your book bag here and have it fall out. Let me show you that. In hindsight, I think the next one I'll try to maybe instead of doing a line up and down, a short, oh, none of that stayed. So I'm thinking maybe it has to go a certain way. I'm not sure. Maybe this has to be looser. I might have this caught up and maybe it's catching or whatever. I don't know. You want to have your floss kind of, the nice thing is you don't have to like cut off a piece of floss. You know, and then restring it or anything. You can use the same size, the same piece of floss. It's not sticking. And like I said, like even like embroidery, it took me a while to really get a pattern going. And you can see I'm kind of crazy here with this. It's not the best looking, you know, it's first time, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it. This is definitely helping me to understand a little bit. I need to stop having I keep holding it with my hand and I'm not meaning to. I know I talked to the local craft lady. I said, oh, we could do a punch project. And she's like, maybe like do a little coaster. Do a small project at first. And I was, instead of a bag. And I was like, the thing is the bag, you know, this is... not too, you could, you know, I could be like, you get three colors. You could do 3 sections of the sweater, so then they're just doing a small section of it. Although, okay, I want to get this tightened back down on here. And I didn't even like, it was so tight when I put it on here that I didn't even tighten the hoop whatsoever. So you could really crank down on this too. That'll help. Because you want it to be taut. Let's see. It's getting better. It's getting better. You can definitely so just, we inked on the front side, and then you can definitely see through the ink. The ink is dark enough where we can see it from the front side. So that's the way to go, I think. Because then, if you decide you do one section of the sweater and you're like, I've had it with this project, it's still going to be cute. You can totally use it. But like I said, I think it's going to want some sort of sealing on it, that sulky seal thing. It irons onto the back. Let's see if we can get some of this area that didn't go in. I don't know why it didn't go in here. Oh boy. I did notice this. How far over are we? With my daughter. I don't know, she was probably 12 trying to, oops, that's not working. Oh, I had it under my hand. So if you start like holding the thread, it doesn't move along very well. I don't know why it's not moving along. The needle's in. It is sort of piercing the fabric a little bit, so it might not, let's see how we're doing. It is, I am noticing that if I go in a hole more than once, it's really hard to get it to stay there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is actually kind of, do you see how I think it looks okay. It looks okay. You know, it's a learning process. We're learning a new craft, and sometimes when you learn a new craft, it takes a little bit to, I think I can tell from the, I'm going to kind of move my way back, although I've got this looped around my thumb again. And I'm going to maybe go between, oops, this is not stiff. Go between where I see things that didn't get stuck in. This was sort of the complaint. I think you just have to really work at getting a pattern and, you know, kind of working, get close stitches, less is better, less space. I'm just kind of going back and trying to regroup a little bit here. You could leave those nice barren lines there. I think it would look just fine. Oops, that one went too big. I don't want it to look like there's knots on the back. Less on the back is better. I looked at my daughter's. Now, granted, she was very young when she was doing it. She was 12, and she was very frustrated with it. And she had great big, like, movement behind. You could see great big spaces. She was moving her stitches really far on the back side. Does remind me of, like, I'm a Human Soy Machine. A little bit. I know this side over here did not. So I'm just sort of doubling up here. And the nice thing is, because I have those stitches in, it's sort of shoving aside the fabric a little bit so I can get these areas kind of filled in between, I think. We'll see. Yeah, it's looking much better when it's thicker. I think I like the look of that. What do you guys think? Is that fun? I'll go across the... It is better to go less, smaller stitches. And definitely I think you could get, oops, that did not go at all. Oh, I see, it's like stuck up here. And actually this does use almost a whole, I don't know if these are the regular size skeins or not. It is, this one little spot is kind of using up a whole skein. Let's see. I need to go down here. So take little ones. It's okay to fill in. I tell you what, I think you could definitely get into, you know, doing just nicer stitches. I'm just kind of going every which way just to show you that it's okay. I'm sort of holding the string here because I've got a knot. This is not what you want. But it used a lot of that skein. Let's see if I still have this. I don't know why this one side is not filling in. Ugh, I keep, when it's not working for me, it's because I've got the thread stuck on myself or on some other area. Oofta, you guys. I was freezing in the house all day long. When I drink so much water, I get really cold. I can't get in there. I don't know why. I'll go all the way down here. I see down in this bottom corner, I didn't get too much in here. The idea is not to have your back be so poofy because it does make the whole thing looser. So, you know, it takes a little bit. This is a great way to try it out. And I'll probably use that sulky stuff. If you want the link to that, just, I don't make, you know, I just want to share all the ideas. And there was some up here that looked like it didn't really get in here. I'm just going back and sort of trying to fill in the spots where it didn't get filled in very well. And like I said, I think this would be really super cute. I'm going to move this. And this is my own doing. I'm going to move this all the way across the top here and it right here next to this other one, because I want to tie them off together. And then, like I said, I'm going to use that backing for fabrics because I have it on hand for doing like sweaters and hats and stuff, just so that it protects the back of this. When you put books in, it won't come apart. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to try. Maybe knotting does not help. I don't know, but I'm going to give it a try. And you do want to trim these because you don't want anything to get a hold of your ends and start pulling. So you do want to trim these nice and snug. I am, like I said, I just triple knotted that right there. And then I'm going to trim it nicely here. So it's, some people pull it through to the front, the trimmed. All right, so there it is. There is our first piece of the sweater. And it's not perfect. You can kind of see in some places where the brown is coming through, but it's looking like a little sweater. It's looking like a little sweater. What do you guys think? Isn't he cute? I think he's adorable. Don't criticize my dog sweater. It's my first time making a dog sweater. Okay. I'm looking to see. Getting some water. All right, so that was with the needle. We're going to unthread this. Now I'll have some embroidery floss for my embroidery. I'll use that. I'll keep the number with it because I like to keep them numbered. I'm looking. So there's some other examples of other stitches you can do besides the one I did. I'm not sure I'm ready for any of that. Okay, so should we do another one? We'll do this one. Maybe we'll do, I guess if you do 1, 2, 3, there's 4 that way. I do like this one though. Oh, I could have left that pink in there and done this front little section right here. Oh well. I like the pattern there. Because I'm thinking about doing it every other one. All right. Get our little threader out. I don't know what I did to get that stuck in there. That is super goofy. It's like, I don't know, through the... And I don't want to cut too close to my threader because, well, I guess it helps you see my threader. All right, here we go. See if it goes better in there or if I have to take that cap off. And I think this time I want to do a little bit different. So maybe try the bigger loop. 12. Ooh, look at how long that is. Okay. Those are going to be some loopy doopies. All right. It does kind of get caught up in there, so it's hard to fish it through. See, it keeps coming out the side. All right. be smarter than the, like I said, I think it was easier to just take the cap off, put it through, put the cap over the, there we go. See, that was easier. Let's do purple. Keep these separate here. All right, again, they say these are wound wrong. They say you can go from the number side and it won't tangle. Maybe these were strung just for different purposes. Maybe they're not as big for Chalk Couture, so maybe they're not as big as they normally are. I'll figure it out someday how to do it. I'm clearly not on board with the non-tangling version of unwinding. There we go. All right, put it through the loop. I think just the more you do this, the better. My daughter said she was stuck because she couldn't thread it without the threader because she lost her threader. So that was sad. All right, here we go. Pull it through, out the end, and then we're going to go from the tall side to the short side of the threader. You know what? I just did it again. I got it stuck in there. Somehow it's getting over the top of it. In transport, there's like one loop stuck in the very top. There, I got it. Little patience. Okay. So you want to put your threader from the back. Will it come out now? Of course not. Oh, I got it. I got the pink one off. You want to come through the tall side to the short side, just over the top. And then stick it back in your threader. This little wire really works hard because it was not going to let go of that pink piece no matter how many times I cut it. Okay, just a little bit because we're not going to get a whole bunch stuck in there again. Okay, and then I think the key is to open it up before you try to slide out your, there you go. All right, and we're going to put that, because that is hard to find. It's so fine. Put that back into our kit. And we've got it through there. Go. And again, we're going to come from the back. And this time, like I said, I've got it on the biggest size just to see what happens. Maybe I'll do the back one, because I think it's going to use more string. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That was fun. It actually is a little easier to do holding it up a little bit into the light so I can see where the lines are. The key is when you pull it out to kind of slow down so you don't go too far. This one I'm going kind of in a zigzag way. They call it a satin zigzag stitch. So you can do different stitches pretty easily. Oops. That one I'm gonna, oh, I have my hand over it again. When it starts malfunctioning, check where your string is if it's too tight. You have to have it loosely going. Keep pulling it tight. Isn't that cute? My goodness. Love, love, love. Now it does say to make it like, what did they say? To give it a velvet-like, you can cut it. But it says to cut the back of the fabric, so I don't get that. Because the big side is on the front, right? That's what you'd want to cut. And I don't know if you can see this, but my back is looking better. Sort of. As soon as I said that, it doesn't. I'm going to go back a few steps here. I took a big jump. But you can see I'm just kind of going back and forth. I tell you, I'm kind of a, learn by doing kind of person. So sometimes I just, even if I haven't figured out how to do a perfect project right now, I will do it until I figure it out. It's just the way I am. It's the way God built me, I guess. I go in, all in, and try it. I do have my finger kind of back here holding this fabric up a little taut so it's not so loose. And it's not necessarily perfect, I guess. Like one of the, ooh, this is what's going on. Look I had a knot. It's not, I do, I was going to say something. That was my own fault. Look at this. I had it tight. With embroidery, like what I learned, maybe not, like I said, I'm kind of like I learn by doing kind of person. I can see where that whole section didn't kind of go in. But, and I'm usually okay with some imperfections, though I will try to perfect it so I can. I'm going to go all the way around the outside edge, I think. I will try to perfect it before I end up putting it in my store or something. I don't like to put, broken items or whatever, things that don't work. And I do, how does it look? Oh my goodness, that filled in nicely. The bigger, the more it fills in. Do you see the difference? Isn't that pretty? So cute. Cute. I don't know. Would you dare cut it? All right, so I'm back to the beginning, and I'm not even going to worry about this spot that's kind of naked here because it doesn't show it on the front at all. Well, I definitely like bigger is better. Bigger is better for these stitches, and I'm going to tie it off. I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not. It's just going with my hunch. But what I found with embroidery is if you're worried about having a uniform stitch or whatever, you could take a pencil or one of those blue pens that erase with water and just draw some lines with a ruler on the back and kind of give yourself some guides. All right. What do you guys think? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Definitely, learning some things. This was a 5 or 6, and then this was the full 12. This purple. I'll turn it around here in a second so you can see it full on after I get this tied off because I don't want it to unravel. And I have seen where people take the Mod Podge, like a sealer, and just, you could probably get one for fabrics. Mod Podge just the fabric on the back so that it just stays there. It kind of glues it down. I think you could use regular Elmer's glue. Okay, let me show you my doggy. Look at him. Look at his sweater. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Isn't he cute? All right, well, you get the idea. I'll probably work on doing 1, 2 more eventually. So, but I think that's pretty good. I could definitely feel it a little bit in my wrist because it does take a little bit of doing to get it going right. But that was pretty fun. Pretty fun. I hope that y'all had a very blessed day. And I tell you what, this was fun to try. It's always fun to try something new. I really appreciate you all hanging out. If you've hung out this long, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to go down and shop. This is available. The Creative Kickstart Kit is free until, with a purchase, until the 9th of February. So it's going to hang out. But thank you so much for being here and giving me a little support and commenting and then sharing it out if you can. And give me some input. Let me know what you think. Feel free to, you can ask me any kind of questions on text. Just tell me what you're asking about, because sometimes when I get these random questions, it's weird to like try to figure out what's going on. So, but my text is down below. All my information. Go do that Whatnot. That helps me out. It helps you out. You get $15 free to spend on Whatnot. Check it out. February 1st, I will be selling my t-shirts and flannels, bleach flannels. So do join in for that. And we will have a very blessed evening. Make sure you keep on crafting.